Hello, it's time to settle in for sleep. Time to let your body relax and your mind grow quiet. Tonight, I'm going to tell you 5 stories about bravery and truthfulness. Stories about creatures who had to make hard choices to tell the truth when lying would be easier, to stand up when everyone else was sitting down, to do what's right even when they were afraid. These are Jataka tales. Stories from the Buddha's past lives when he was learning to be courageous, honest, and true. Bravery doesn't always mean fighting or being the strongest. Sometimes bravery means being honest. Sometimes it means helping others even when it's hard. Sometimes it means doing the right thing even when you're scared. You can close your eyes now. You can let your breathing slow down. You can snuggle into your blankets and get comfortable. These stories are here to help you rest. If you drift off to sleep before they end, that's perfect. The stories will keep working their gentle magic even as you dream. Let's begin with the first story about a very small, very brave parrot. Long ago, in a vast forest, there lived thousands of animals: deer, elephants, tigers, monkeys, peacocks, and countless birds. They all lived together in harmony, sharing the forest, each creature respecting the others. Among these animals was a small parrot. She was bright green with a red beak and a cheerful voice. She lived in a tree with her family and friends, eating fruits and seeds, singing songs, enjoying the peaceful forest life. The parrot loved the forest, every tree, every flower, every stream. It was her home, and she was grateful for it every single day. One year, during the hottest, driest season, something terrible happened. A fire started. No one knew how. Maybe lightning struck a dead tree. Maybe sparks from a traveler's campfire caught in the dry grass. But however it started, it spread fast. The flames moved through the forest, consuming everything in their path. Trees exploded in bursts of heat. Grass turned to ash. The air filled with smoke. All the animals ran. The deer bounded away. The elephants thundered to the rivers. The monkeys swung through the trees to safer ground. The tigers raced toward the hills. Everyone fled, except the little parrot. She flew above the fire, watching it spread, watching her beloved forest burn, and her heart broke. "I have to do something," she said to herself. "I can't just fly away. This forest gave me everything. I have to try to help." But what could one small parrot do against a forest fire? She flew to the nearest river. She dipped her wings into the water, soaking her feathers completely. Then she flew back over the flames and shook her wings, releasing tiny droplets of water onto the fire below. It was almost nothing. A few drops, barely enough to wet a single leaf, but she flew back to the river, soaked her wings again, flew back to the fire, shook the water out, again and again and again. Other birds flew past, escaping to safety. They saw her. "What are you doing?" they called. "You can't put out a forest fire with drops of water. Come with us. Save yourself." But the parrot kept flying, river to fire, fire to river. Her wings grew heavy with water. Her feathers became singed from the heat. Smoke filled her lungs, but she didn't stop. "This forest gave me life," she gasped. "I have to try, even if it's not enough. I have to try." High above, in the heavens, a god was watching. He saw this tiny parrot, alone, trying to fight a massive fire with nothing but drops of water from her wings. At first, he thought it was foolish, pointless. The fire was too big. The parrot was too small. She would only exhaust herself or die trying. But as he watched her fly back and forth, never giving up, never stopping, his heart began to change. He saw her determination, her love for the forest, her refusal to abandon her home even when every other creature had fled. He saw her courage, not the loud, showy courage of warriors, but the quiet courage of someone doing what's right even when it seems hopeless. And he was moved. The god descended from the heavens. He took the form of a golden eagle and flew beside the little parrot. "Why are you doing this?" he asked gently. "You cannot put out this fire alone." The parrot looked at him with tired eyes. "I know," she said, "but this forest gave me everything. My home, my food, my family, my life. How can I fly away and not try to help? Even if I can't save the whole forest, maybe I can save one tree, one flower, something." She shook the water from her wings onto the flames below. "I have to try. Even if it's not enough, I have to try." The god was silent for a moment. Then he said, "Your courage has moved me. Your love for this forest has touched my heart. You have shown me what true bravery looks like." He flew higher into the sky, and then from his wings, rain began to fall. Not drops, not a shower, but a torrential downpour, heavy, drenching rain that fell on the forest like a waterfall from the sky. The flames hissed and sputtered. The fire began to die. Steam rose in great clouds, and slowly, the fire went out. The forest was saved. Not all of it. Parts had burned, trees were blackened, grass was ash, but much remained, enough to rebuild, enough to start again. The little parrot flew down to a surviving tree and landed on a branch, exhausted, her feathers singed and wet, her body trembling with fatigue. The god landed beside her. "You did this," he said gently. "Your courage brought the rain. Your refusal to give up saved this forest." "I didn't bring the rain," the parrot said softly. "You did." "No," the god said. "Your courage moved me to bring the rain. Without you, I would have watched the forest burn. Your bravery inspired me to act." He touched her gently with his wing, healing her burns, restoring her strength. "Remember this," he said. "Sometimes we can't solve big problems alone. But when we try anyway, when we refuse to give up, when we do what's right even when it seems hopeless, we inspire others. We move hearts. We change things in ways we can't predict." The parrot understood. She had done what she could, and somehow, impossibly, it had been enough. Now the second story begins. This one is about a prince who always told the truth. In a great kingdom, there lived a young prince named Siddhartha. This was one of the Buddha's lives as a human before he became the Buddha. Prince Siddhartha was kind, generous, and loved by everyone. But what made him truly special was this: he never, ever lied. Not little lies, not white lies, not even when telling the truth was hard or embarrassing or might get him in trouble. He simply couldn't bring himself to speak untruth. It was as if honesty was woven into the fabric of his being. One day, the king decided to test his son. Not because he doubted him, but because he wanted to be sure his son was truly ready to become a wise ruler one day. The king called the prince to the palace gardens. "Son," he said, "I'm going to ask you some questions. I want you to answer them honestly. Can you do that?" "Of course, father," the prince said. "I always do," the king smiled. "Yes, I know, but these questions might be difficult. You might be tempted to answer in ways you think I want to hear, rather than what's true." "I understand," the prince said calmly. "I will tell the truth." The king's first question was this: "Do you think I'm the wisest king in all the lands?" The prince thought carefully. "Father, you are very wise. You rule with justice and kindness. but I don't know every king in every land. There may be kings I've never met who are also very wise, Temblins. So I can't say for certain that you are the wisest of all, but I can say that you are a very good king, and I'm proud to be your son." The king nodded. It wasn't the flattering answer he might have hoped for, but it was honest. "Second question," the king said. "Do you ever disagree with my decisions?" The prince hesitated. This was harder. "Sometimes, Father, I do wonder if there might be different ways to handle certain situations, but I also understand that you have more experience than I do, and you see things I might not see. So yes, sometimes I disagree in my mind, but I respect your wisdom and your right to rule as you see fit." The king smiled. "Good. A prince who never questions is a prince who never thinks. Now, third question. If you knew someone in the palace was stealing, even if it was someone you cared about, would you tell me?" This was the hardest question yet. "Father, that would be very difficult. If someone I cared about was stealing, I would first speak to them privately. I would ask them why. I would try to help them stop. But if they continued, yes, I would tell you. Because stealing harms others, and protecting one person I care about shouldn't mean allowing harm to continue." The king stood up. He placed his hands on his son's shoulders. "You have passed the test," he said warmly. "Not because you told me what I wanted to hear, but because you told me the truth, even when it was uncomfortable. That is the mark of a true leader. That is the mark of a good person." He hugged his son. "Never lose that quality," he said. "Kings have many advisors who will tell them what they want to hear. What a king truly needs is people who will tell them the truth. Promise me you'll always be that person." "I promise, Father," the prince said, and he kept that promise. Throughout his life, through all his future lives, the Buddha learned that truth is not always easy, but it's always right. That honesty, even when it's hard, is the foundation of trust, wisdom, and peace. Let's take a gentle breath together. In slowly, and out slowly. Good. The third story is about a woodcutter who was very poor but very honest. In a village near a great forest, there lived a woodcutter. He was a simple man. He owned almost nothing, just an axe, his clothes, and a small hut where he slept. Every day, he would go into the forest, cut wood, bring it to the village, and sell it. He earned just enough to buy rice and a few vegetables, just enough to survive. He was poor, but he was honest. He never cheated anyone, never took more than his fair share, never lied about the quality of his wood. One day, while he was cutting wood near a river, his axe slipped from his hands. It fell into the water with a splash and sank immediately. The river was deep and the current was strong. The axe was gone. The woodcutter sat down on the riverbank and put his head in his hands. Without his axe, he couldn't cut wood. Without cutting wood, he couldn't earn money. Without money, he couldn't eat. His livelihood was gone, sunk to the bottom of the river. He began to cry. Not loud, dramatic crying, just quiet tears of desperation. "What will I do?" he whispered. "I have nothing. I am nothing without my axe." Suddenly, the water began to glow. A spirit rose from the river. She was beautiful and kind, with long flowing hair like water itself and eyes as clear as a mountain stream. "Why are you crying?" she asked gently. The woodcutter explained what had happened, how his axe had fallen, how it was all he owned, how he didn't know what to do. The spirit listened compassionately. "I will help you," she said. She dove back into the water. When she returned, she was holding an axe. but not the woodcutter's axe. This axe was made of pure gold, gleaming in the sunlight. "Is this your axe?" she asked. The woodcutter stared at it. It was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. With that golden axe, he could sell it and have enough money to live comfortably for years. He would never have to worry about food again, never have to struggle. But it wasn't his axe. "No," he said quietly, "that's not mine. My axe was old and made of iron." The spirit nodded. She dove again. This time, when she returned, she held an axe made of pure silver. It shone like moonlight. "Is this your axe?" she asked. Again, the woodcutter was tempted. The silver axe was also worth a fortune. He could sell it and live well, but it wasn't his. "No," he said, "that's not mine either. My axe was simple iron with a wooden handle." The spirit smiled. She dove a third time. When she returned, she held his axe. Old, worn. The handle was scratched. The blade was dull. It was nothing special. "Is this your axe?" she asked. "Yes," the woodcutter said, his face lighting up. "Yes, that's mine. Thank you. Thank you so much." The spirit's smile grew wider. "You are an honest man," she said. "Twice you could have claimed a valuable axe that wasn't yours. Twice you told the truth even though it cost you. That kind of honesty is rare and precious." She handed him his iron axe. Then she also gave him the silver axe. "And the gold axe, these are yours now," she said. "Not because you asked for them, but because you didn't. Honesty deserves to be rewarded." The woodcutter couldn't believe it. He thanked her over and over. He took all 3 axes home. He kept his old iron axe. He used it every day, as he always had. But he sold the gold and silver axes and used the money to help others in his village who were struggling, just as he had been. And he always remembered the lesson, that honesty, even when it costs you something, is always the right choice, and that sometimes, when you're true, the universe finds ways to be true to you in return. The 4th story is about a young lion cub who had to be brave. In the savannah, in a pride of lions, there was born a small cub. He was the smallest of his litter. His brothers and sisters were bigger, stronger, louder. The little cub was often afraid of the dark, afraid of loud noises, afraid of being alone, afraid of many things. His mother was kind to him. She would nuzzle him gently and say, "It's okay to be afraid. Everyone is afraid sometimes, but you can be brave even when you're scared." "How?" the little cub would ask. "How can you be brave when you're afraid?" "Being brave doesn't mean you're not scared," his mother explained. "It means you do what needs to be done even though you're scared." The little cub didn't fully understand, but he trusted his mother. One day, the pride was resting in the tall grass. The adult lions were sleeping. The cubs were playing nearby. Suddenly, the little cub heard something, a sound, a cry, faint and desperate. He looked around. His brothers and sisters hadn't heard it. The adults were asleep. He heard it again, a cry for help. His heart started racing. He was scared. Whatever was making that sound might be dangerous. He should wake the adults. He should get help. But the cry came again, more desperate, more urgent, and the little cub realized if he took the time to wake the adults, it might be too late. He had to go, now, even though he was afraid. His legs trembled as he walked toward the sound. Every instinct told him to run back to his mother, but he kept going. He found the source of the cry, a baby antelope trapped in a thorn bush. It must have gotten separated from its herd and become tangled in the sharp branches. The antelope saw the lion cub and froze in terror. The cub could have done many things. He could have called the adult lions to hunt this easy prey. He could have attacked it himself. He could have walked away. But he remembered his mother's words. Being brave means doing what needs to be done. And what needed to be done was help. Carefully, ignoring his fear, the little cub used his small teeth to pull away the thorns. He worked slowly, gently, trying not to hurt the baby antelope further. It took a long time. The thorns pricked his mouth. The antelope struggled at first, then grew still, perhaps understanding that the cub was helping. Finally, the last thorn came away. The baby antelope was free. It looked at the lion cub for a long moment. Then it bounded away, back toward where its herd would be. The little cub returned to the pride. His mother was awake now. She had seen everything from a distance. "You helped prey," she said quietly. "You know we hunt antelope." "I know," the little cub said. "But it was a baby. It was scared. It needed help." His mother nuzzled him gently. "You were brave today," she said. "Not because you were strong or fierce, but because you did what was right, even though you were afraid. Even though it went against your instincts. That is true courage." The little cub grew up to be a wise and compassionate lion. He never forgot that day. He learned that bravery comes in many forms, and sometimes the bravest thing you can do is choose kindness over instinct, compassion over habit, doing right over doing what's expected. One last story now. This one is about a merchant who always kept his promises. There was once a merchant who traveled from city to city, buying and selling goods. He was the Buddha in another life, learning about honor and integrity. The merchant had a rule. Once he made a promise, he kept it, no matter what, even if it cost him money, even if it was inconvenient, even if circumstances changed. His word was his bond. One year, he was traveling to a distant city with a caravan of goods. Along the way, he stopped in a small town to rest and resupply. While he was there, a local farmer approached him. "Sir," the farmer said, "I have a large harvest of wheat this year, more than my family can use. Would you buy it? I need the money to pay my debts." The merchant looked at the wheat. It was good quality. He didn't particularly need wheat right now, but he could see the farmer was desperate. "How much do you want for it?" the merchant asked. The farmer named a fair price. "All right," the merchant said. "I'll buy it, but I'm continuing my journey tomorrow. I'll come back this way in 2 months. When I return, have the wheat ready, and I'll pay you the full price we agreed on." "You'll really come back?" the farmer asked, hope and doubt mixing in his voice. "I give you my word," the merchant said firmly. They shook hands. The merchant continued on his journey. 2 months passed. The merchant completed his business in the distant city. He made good profits. He was ready to return home. But now he faced a choice. The route back home had 2 options. He could return the way he came, which would take him through the small town where the farmer was waiting with the wheat. Or he could take a different route, faster, safer, and more convenient, that bypassed that town entirely. His fellow travelers urged him to take the faster route. "Why go out of your way?" they said. "That farmer is probably gone by now anyway, or he sold the wheat to someone else. Don't waste your time." But the merchant remembered his promise. "I gave my word," he said simply. "I will go back that way." So he did. He took the longer route. It added 3 extra days to his journey. It was less convenient, but he had promised. When he arrived in the small town, he found the farmer waiting. The farmer's face lit up with relief and joy. "You came back," he said. "I was starting to worry. Others told me you wouldn't, but you're here." "I said I would," the merchant replied. "I always keep my word." He paid the farmer the full amount they'd agreed on. He loaded the wheat onto his carts and continued home. His fellow merchants thought he was foolish. "You went 3 days out of your way for one farmer," they said. "You could have saved time and money." But the merchant smiled. "Perhaps. But now that farmer knows my word is good. Now everyone in that town knows I keep my promises. Next time I travel through, they'll trust me. They'll want to do business with me. Reputation is worth more than convenience." Years later, that small town became an important trading post, and because the merchant had kept his promise, because he had built trust, he became the most successful trader in that entire region. But more importantly, he kept his integrity. He remained true to himself. He showed that a promise is sacred, that honor matters, that being trustworthy is worth any inconvenience. And that lesson that your word is your most valuable possession stayed with him through all his lives. And so all 5 stories are complete. The brave little parrot who tried even when it seemed hopeless. The truthful prince who spoke honestly even when it was hard. The honest woodcutter who told the truth even when lying would benefit him. The fearless lion cub who helped even though he was afraid. The merchant who kept his promise no matter the cost. 5 stories about courage and honesty, about doing what's right even when it's difficult, about being true even when no one is watching. Let these lessons settle gently in your heart as you drift towards sleep. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to try, to be honest, to be brave in your own way, to keep your promises, to do what's right even when it's hard. The night is peaceful now. The stars are shining. All the brave creatures in these stories are resting. The parrot is sleeping in her forest. The prince is safe in his palace. The woodcutter is dreaming by his river. The lion cub is curled up with his mother. The merchant is home after his journey. And you can rest too, knowing that bravery isn't about being big or strong or fearless. It's about being kind, about being true, about doing what's right. And you already have everything you need to be brave. Take one more slow, peaceful breath. Feel how safe you are, how comfortable, how ready for sleep. Good night. May your dreams be full of courage and truth. Rest well.